Welcome to Invest. We talk about investing, finance, or professional development. As the recording time of approximate 9 a.m. on Eastern Time, Ethereum contract $2,926, down about 0.75% so far. With respect to overall crypto market, we kind of a mixed bag at the moment, up and down across the spectrum. But I'll say collectively speaking, if you take that as a weighted average perspective, we are relatively flat. With some key coins on the altcoin side of the house a little bit more prominent than others. So we'll dive into the technicals in a bit. And with respect to the equity side, we can see clearly with respect to NASDAQ is currently up about 1.62% in a pre-market perspective, while Dow Jones and S&P are also in the green territory, up about 0.6% across the board. And what are some of the major catalysts that we're seeing across the morning? Beside obviously the Russian-Ukraine war that is still cultivating, the main driver that we're seeing on driving the equity to be surging, being suppressed by obviously the Russian-Ukraine war and the depiction that we'll be hearing from Jerome later today on his depictions on the second day, speaking in front of the House, right, and obviously publicly to the nation in the United States. On the economic outlook going forward, right? We heard the transcript from yesterday. It seems like it's in alignment with expectations, and the big question mark is still the uncertain factor around the Russian-Ukraine war. How's that gonna, hinder or triangulate into the interest hikes that technically the Feds have laid out in a strategic perspective, right? But in a tactical perspective, how does that really play out? That's ultimately out of his control, right? So that's something we still have to kind of gauge and see how that goes. And ultimately, despite positive signal or negative signal from the Fed, we often and always, I mean for me always look into the risk management level to identify the gaps, and subsequently make a logical judgment onto what area should we be buying in or what area should be selling, right? And that's why we do the DCA analysis on a day-to-day basis, and that's why some of my Patreon members find this extremely helpful on my day-to-day buy sell hold signals to keep yourself within the frame of mindset, right? So let's just take a look at the jobless claim number. It seems like with respect to the unemployment insurance, the number has totaled to be 215,000, and basically in the comparisons to Wall Street estimate, it's the lowest since the beginning of the year, less than, definitely way below Wall Street estimates. In addition to that, just look at that in a more of a specific perspective. It seems like on a separate report that came out from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it shows that the non-farm productivity has also risen by 6.6% in the fourth quarter, slightly less than estimates for 6.7%. However, the unit labor cost rose by close to 1%, which is well ahead of expectations, right? And on respect to the jobless claim number, last week total represented a decline of 18,000 from the previous week, which is lowest since Gen 1. And continue on that claims with respect to the numbers on the recent time frame. It seems like we are trending in align with Wall Street expectation with some flavor of surprises that are more positive. So driving some, I guess, minimal, I would say, very minimal type of affectation on buying pressure on the equity market, which we can see right here. And I think the crypto market will follow through, as we hear more depictions from Jerome. So let's not waste any time and just dive into technical analysis. With respect to a recording time of 9:03 a.m. on Eastern Time, we are basically $100 above the 2,853, and we know that we could not get above, firstly, the flat number, which is a good indicator, 3,000, right? We are still gliding back down. At the same time, we could not get to the real level, the 3,158, right? So that's not good in both ways. At the same time, we are seemingly on the MACD front forming an apex already with the 54 of 70. So I think what will be very logical, and I think this would not be the time to buy it, for it to come back down to 2,853, glide back a little bit, and I think by then we'll basically retest basically 45 out of 70. but I think we need to get back to the 2621 as we glide back down on the MACD to allow for the MACD line to cross below and then cross back up to form a golden cross. And at the time, RSI is going to be depleted as well. And that would be the perfect time for you to get into. But right now, obviously, we are at the exact opposite of the spectrum, right? Respect to Bitcoin, up about 0.33, so not really doing anything. We're just gliding on a sideways fashion. Seems like Bitcoin is a little bit more bullish in comparisons to Ethereum because we have this cup and handle, and it seems like we have reached that cup and handle completely. However, we're being net canceled out by the 60 out of 70 on the RSI scale. We are on the opposite side of the MACD spectrum. So if we were on the opposite side, right, let's see the MACD line is like the blue line replacing it, right? At the same time, we're more depleted on the RSI. Yeah, then I would say we'll keep surging. But right now, we're being net canceled out. So this is still a bearish pattern, technically. With respect to Dogecoin, flat again. Anywhere from basically 12.50 to 10 cents is still logical to 46 out of 70. Cardano, down about 0.34%. At the moment right now, it's okay, 44 out of 70. I prefer anywhere from 90 all the way to 74 from here. Solana is 100 right now. It's down about 4%. With the 52 out of 70, we're about to form an apex. I think we are at the apex almost. Anywhere from basically 90 to 75 from here would be more logical. The 100 is all right. But you could see that we are relatively on the upper echelon of neutral already, forming an apex. So again, 90 to 75 from here. XRP is down about 0.25%. With the 52 out of 70, we are fusing together, so it's like kind of consolidating. It looks kind of like a downward wedge for some reason, so I think a surge will happen. It would not be surprising to me actually. This seems like a downward wedge. As you squeeze further and further and further, you will propel upward, and I think this could be a really interesting. It's kind of hard to see, but I think the blue line is kind of under the MACD, or is it the other way around? It's like very hard to really see. Anyways, I think a surge is definitely probable. But however, we're at the 52 out of 70, so do we see a mega surge if it happens? I think 88 cents will be possible if it's a bullish. But I think right now, actually, if you look into the MACD line, it is crossing up, right? So that means a golden cross is about to be formed. But is it going to be a mega surge? I think 88 will be the next. So I think XRP is actually a relatively bullish pattern right now, but not like a really, really prominently clear bullish pattern. It's a kind of a mixed bag at the moment. But for me, I would still be more risk averse because I don't gamble ever. 63 to 57. Polkadot's about 2%. I like anywhere from basically, again, right, 16 all the way to 14 right now is not the most ideal. Algorand's up about 1%, anywhere from basically 79 to 69 from here with 43 of 70. Shiba Inu, again, right, same thing, low 2000s, so like we're like basically on the upper echelon of 2000s right now. So low 2000s, 1400, 900. MAC tag is up about 0.4%, 142 to 120. AVAX, down about 2%. This is clearly a head and shoulder pattern. A head, shoulder, shoulder. It means we're going to sell off. I think the next level we'll leap down to will be firstly 69, but I like 59 to 50. That's just my personal preference. Luna is still, being stubborn, I would say. We have obviously leaped up for such a long time, large separation. I think we are going to be forming apex any days now. We are at the 75 out of 70, so we know what that means. So Luna, absolutely not a buy. I would absolutely advise taking profit and be strategic about it. The risk is really high, and for those that are buying in right now, be cautious. This is definitely, not in your most favor right now. I think anywhere again, right? With respect to like 40, like the frames that we all have always talked about is 62, 52 to 45, right? So I prefer 52 to 45, and that's why we pumped up that way, right? When we were forming, we didn't even form a golden cross, to be honest with you. We just like kind of leaped up, which is crazy to me. So this is some well activity that's going on right now. This is not organically happened. So something to think about. All right, so appreciate you for this Thursday. I'll report back a little bit later as we hear more developments on the media front and obviously on any specific seismic news that we to be aware of. Have a good day. Take care.